May have heard the news, that I shared with you a couple of days ago around, two companies pouring $1.2 billion, yes, US dollars, $1.2 billion into Ken Griffin Citadel Securities, right? And this was kind of announced and packaged from mainstream media like it was a preview of, these companies positioning themselves. I'm talking about Sequoia Capital and Paradigm positioning themselves in order to get some shares, some equity, into the play before the actual IPO comes. Nobody knows when. All right. And I shared with you on spot, in live reaction on that same day that there was something shady happening here. There was something not lining up. There was something really not making a lot of sense with this news, just because, first of all, based on the top performance in hedge funds on Wall Street, Citadel did pretty good compared to the other, but they still have heavy unrealized losses. And a bunch of people, commented and thought that this was just, Mr. Ken Griffin or Citadel kind of being bailed out by Sequoia based on the fact that these are kind of friends in business. They are both major partners and investors into Robinhood, and the fact that they've been doing business before on some of the companies, acquiring some of the companies, it might not be as transparent as they want us to believe, based on the fact that they're kind of prepping for the IPO, because this is really the first time that Citadel does something of this nature. So a bunch of people have been saying on YouTube that, and on social media already, that, hey, this is them being bailed out because they're losing a ton of money. And even for them, when AMC does what it's supposed to do, it's going to be devastating and has the potential of even vaporizing them, even as big as they are. All right. But Luke came up and mentioned something, that, but everybody is wrong. And I don't think that's the case. Well, that in my channel and personally, I do value a lot Lou and his opinion, because he's definitely an MVP for the community and, a valuable asset for the community based on what he provides as, advice, insight, and analysis. But I think maybe it might be not that right on this one, because what is kind of striking me out is, these are the posts from Dr. Marco Metzler. He's the managing founder of DR Metzler Rating Consulting. He's a professional, and a veteran on Wall Street and the street, so he knows a bunch of stuff. And he's been making the link between the situation between Evergrande bankruptcy and issues and problems with what may happen with AMC, GameStop, and other bunch of stocks, meme stocks. So he made also his opinion based on what is happening, and he's saying that Citadel is so desperate that he's raising external capital for the first time, because the way it goes, usually Citadel will get the money from one of his company and pour that money into the other company, because you have Citadel, the hedge fund, you have Citadel Securities, and you have other entities of Citadel, because he's really everywhere in the market. He's not only a market maker, he's also like everything else. So based on this, Mr. Marco is saying that, Metzler is saying that he will expect that the money will be coming from the hedge fund flowing into Citadel Securities, especially if they are to go public. But that's not what he did. As a matter of fact, he sold a part of the stake of his company, because Mr. Ken Griffin really owns, or used to own, 100% of the entire company. But for the very first time, he's been willing to let go 15 to 20% of the value of the company, the ownership of this company, of its company that is built, in order to get the $1.2 billion. Now, what else is kind of, making this feel a little bit foggy is the fact that in January and in December, they announced to the clients that you cannot get the money out. So if they're making that much money and that much performance, if they did good in 2021, why are they preventing clients from removing the money if without having them to pay hefty double digits fees? It doesn't make any sense, because anytime you do that, it's really because either you need to maintain and retain cash on hands, or you're trying to hide something. And I bet you that they might be trying to hide some unrealized losses, not only on AMC, but maybe on a bunch of other stocks. All right. So based on this, that's why Mr. Morocco said if Citadel were to go under for good, now this will be reflected on Sequoia's capital. So it seems like Griffin fans have to help him out once again, even if it must be humiliating to have sell his shares for the first time and no longer be the 100% shareholder of the most hated hedge fund in the world. And he added, however, it's not to mention that Sequoia, as an early stage investor in Robinhood and even in Melvin Capital, the hedge fund that massively shorted GameStop and AMC and had to be rescued by Citadel. So it's really like, based on this and based on my opinion and analysis I just shared on this matter, I really think everybody's entitled to have their own opinion, right? But I think it really seems like something is going on here under the rock. They're trying to really package something here that we don't really quite get the sense of it. But that's what I'm saying. Lou might have a different opinion, but I really believe that based on this being the first time they're actually doing this, and with so much money they have and they're supposed to have as a big company on the street, Nah. Those kind of deals, you don't make those if you're not trying to hide something. So let me know what you think, folks.